you keep changing what someone is supposed to be doing, you are never going to know if it worked. And I think especially virtual selling, sometimes it's like the topic du jour. Like, oh, we should have them call about this.
Oh, yeah.
And they call about it for like a week. And then they're like, oh, wait, how about this? Hey, Debbie, you and I have a friend who talks about the shiny object syndrome. And it's okay to change what they're calling about, as long as, crazy, you go back to your vision. Like, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We're going to call about this for now to get from here to here. And that might be, okay, you're promoting a webinar this week. So, okay, we're doing a webinar, we're going to do this. But tie it back to that plan, that vision, that objective that you've got. And work on it for long enough that you as an organization can see results. Because how are you going to know if it's working if you stop tracking it?
And I see that a lot where people don't give things enough time. You know, you talk about the bright, shiny object syndrome, but you know, where they're desperate for business. Okay, and so today we'll try this, and today we'll try this, and you know, and I'm not saying it never works, but seldom works. You know, it's like you have to give things time, and different things take different amounts of times. But that follow through, you know, what is it we say in sales? The fortune's in the follow up. You know, if you're not going to follow up, don't start up, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. You know, follow through with what you say you're going to do in all that you do. It can be so powerful for your results.
So for me, the other piece of that is, if we have a conversation, the other piece of that focus needs to be on what's important to the client, the prospect, the person you're talking to, and what they think the next logical step is. So when we're talking about what are we going to call about next, what are we going to do next, part of it is asking questions in the conversation that sets you up for success by understanding the expectations that that person has started to have of you because of what you've done. So I don't know, again, yet another topic that we probably could go on and on and on.
So do we have any questions from anyone?
I'm back. Well, I don't see any more questions at this point.
Very good.
So I'm going to throw out there, is there anything that you have wanted to know about virtual selling that we haven't talked about? Just ask now.
I do. I have a question. So yes, what you talked about here is so great. So building a plan, setting your expectations, making sure your teams are aligned, communicating everything effectively to everyone, making sure that they're trained and onboarded, you have all the resources they need to be successful, measuring progress, and making sure we're following through with all of our campaigns, which is super cool. But let's say I'm like, I need to sell more and I want to bring someone on. This is a lot, like, but maybe I'm not like a sales expert person. Like, what do you think about, I know you guys do this, people hire you to do this, but can you talk a little bit about hiring someone to help you build your sales process and like your sales team? Or is pluses and minuses of getting outsourced help or just doing it internally? Because I tried to do it internally last year and I failed massively. I hired someone, I spent $40,000 and didn't work out. And I was warned by one of your friends, hire me to help you onboard the person. No, I know sales, I know marketing, I can get them going. And I thought I had it all set up and it wasn't successful. So how can people avoid that terrible outcome?
Great question. Debbie, do you have a idea?
Well, yes, I think it's like what we talked about is number one, us being clear in what we want, and how much of it, I mean, with numbers and analytics behind it, and then being clear on who it is our customer is, so that we're spending time, we've hired the right people to call on the right people. And so hiring them is really understanding, because it's not just the skill set. Hiring is also about, we talk about culture and personality and those kind of things. It's somebody that you're going to work with every day. Like I'm very verbose and outgoing and stuff. And, somebody, if I ask them a question, they go, yes, that is irritating as hell to me. And I could not imagine dealing with that every day. So thinking about, a person, if you have never hired a salesperson, then think about a salesperson that you have dealt with, that you admired for whatever reason. What were the things about them that you really admired? And then would you want that? Would that make sense for you in the salesperson for your company, for your team? And think about what that is. And then, what have they done before? What are their successes? Again, ask all those questions up front before you hire them, and understand who they really are. And then one of the most important things in hiring is, what do they want? Where we've hired people that we wanted them to do $100,000 a year and there's a commission plan. But the fact of the matter, from day one, they were happy with the plan at $50,000. Well, you need to know that up front. Don't hire them. They're not the 100,000 person. So really knowing what you want and the outcomes you want, who you want to deal with every day, who you want to be around, who do you want your customers to be around? It's the whole person, not just their sales skills.
I know that if I end up hiring more salespeople, I'm not going to go it alone. I'm going to make sure I have enough money to hire a consultant like one of you ladies to help me build my program up and make sure I hire the right person, because it's not as easy as just, you have to have it all mapped out, like you said, before you even talk to someone. But
right. So, the other piece of that puzzle is, if you are a business owner, you have a whole set of responsibilities that don't just go away because you hire somebody else. And I think often we are hoping to hire somebody who is a self-starter. That's my favorite. Like, I want to hire a self-starter. Okay, that's great. They would own their own business if they were really a self-starter. So, look for, you have to have the time, energy, and effort to put in. So we do have a question out there on, okay, what do we do when the buyer is inexperienced? So we, how as salespeople do we teach kind of the buyer how to do their job in the right way? So they've, inexperienced buyer, how do we bring them through the process? So I will say that one of the pieces of that puzzle for me is, you need to understand how your other buyers buy. Like, your target customer, do you understand their buying process rather than just your sales process? And then start to talk about, like, your questioning. Make sure you're asking questions that are leading the buyer to figure out those things about their company, and how that is going to work would be my big thing.
I like that, Lynn. I think, as salespeople, we've talked to many buyers, right? So we know how it goes. And so we could be honest with them and just be like, hey, I've worked with 10 other people in your exact same position. Here's what we did. Here's how it went for them. Here's the concerns that they had for themselves and their company. Probably will align with what you think. I don't know, maybe just being straight up with them and tell them you're going to guide them through the process because you have a lot of experience.
And chunk it down, though. I think it feels overwhelming if we try to take them through the whole process. So take them through little pieces at a time. And actually, I will say that some of the work that I do is I actually help organizations figure out how their customers buy. Like that's part of
Exactly.
the training that I do, right? Like, okay, well, how do people buy from you? And a lot of times organizations are like, or my favorite, well, it's everyone is different. I'm like, no, they're not. Right? So the federal government may buy differently than a K through 12, may buy differently than a manufacturing company, but all of your customers do not buy differently. They may talk about it differently, but there is a buying process that they are going through.
I love that, Lynn. Talk about it differently, but they buy the same. I love that. Well, we are a couple of minutes over time. We just so appreciate you all being with us today and participating and your questions. And all of us are available to you. If there's anything you need, something we didn't cover today, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be glad to respond and help you. So Krista, can you share with them how they can get a copy of the recording when this is over that they can share with the rest of their team or
Yes,
others?
absolutely. Someone here was saying that we need to do this more often. So
We love that.
yeah, so after this, I'm gonna get the recording. I have to do a little bit of editing on it and get it up on the website. So give me a couple days to do that. And then I will be emailing everyone the link, and I'll make sure that I include Debbie and Lynn's information so you can contact them directly too, if you want to. And then, yeah, please contact any of us if you have questions or need more help with anything. You're in really good hands with Debbie and Lynn for sure. And me too.
And with you.
I was going to say, and Krista with you. So you all know we have been co-marketing with Krista to put this on. So we're all putting our expertise together, the different things we do to present this to you with even more information and more value. So if this is something you've thought about doing, please talk to Krista and she will give you the details on how to do it.
Well, thank you very much. Enjoy your day, everyone, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
Bye.